Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. I have with me the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. So I actually had not purchased any of these prior to this time. I debated back and forth last time that she released the red velvets because, I'm not super into matte lipsticks, so I wasn't really sure. And then obviously when they came out, I was like kicking myself for not getting them. So I ordered everything she had available this time. So in this case, we have the Irresistible Pink collection, which was part of her summer collection. So her summer collection, she had released 4 lipsticks, and this is 3 of the 4. So the only one that is not in there is Go Lightly. So in here we have Skyscraper Rose, Rainbow Spill, and Love of My Life. And this is a teal or aqua fabric, kind of a little reminiscent of the Tiffany's blue. And we've got the matte gold monogram on the zipper pull. Okay, so inside everything is packaged with tissue paper. And just a note, but the packaging that everything was shipped in, it's in a cardboard box. Everything's packaged with white tissue paper. And Lisa Eldridge actually put a note on the box reminding everybody that everything in here is recyclable and to recycle all the packaging. So I thought that was very nice. Some companies, use a ton of plastic or, non-environmentally friendly materials. And I prefer having recyclable materials personally. Okay, so inside we have the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks in her box with her monogram, and the top has the name of the lipstick. On the side it has the type of lipstick. So the pinks are either insanely saturated lip colors or there is a luxuriously lucent lip color. So we'll look at these when we go through the swatches. Here are just some of the ingredients. Okay, and that again was part of a summer collection. So I also got the new lipsticks and the original red velvets. Everything comes in this nice red case, which my 3-year-old saw and is like, you have to give me one. So she really loves this. She wants to be fancy. So we've got the monogram on the top, or on the front, and then again, it's got the matte gold zipper pull with the monogram on it. And again, everything is packaged the same. So let's go through. We'll do arm swatches of all of the colors, and then I will put on some lip swatches so you can see everything. Some items are sold out already. Some of them were sold out before, anything had shipped, during the pre-sale. So, but there are still things available. So when I checked, we still had Fawn, Decade, and Midnight were still available. The originals, Morning, Ribbon, and Jazz, were still available. So those are all velvet mattes. And then there were a couple of the sets in the cases left. So the True Velvet, which were the originals, that was left. And then there was an Ultimate Velvet Mix, which has Velvet Muse, Decade, and Ribbon. So 2 new ones and 1 of the originals. So, all right, let's go through and we'll start swatching. And we will start with the pinks and work our way through to the newest ones. Okay, so I'm back and we are ready to swatch. So I will do arm swatches for all of these right now. And before we get started, let's talk about the packaging for the actual lipstick. So it is in a more of a matte gold bullet tube, okay, and it's round. We've got the monogram on the top, and sorry, put that sideways. And on the bottom, of course, it has the name. So this one here is Love of My Life. And these are magnetic, so it's actually got a nice heft to it, the whole container as a whole. So it feels very luxurious just by the weight of it. And then one of the things I wanted to note, this one actually has some fuzz or something on it. But this tube, it does go down all of the way, so you don't have to worry about chipping the top of the lipstick. And just the actual mechanism for turning it has like a little bit more resistance than other lipsticks, and it gives it another luxurious feel to it. So again, it's magnetic, so this will just pop on very nicely. Another thing to notice is, they do kind of, your magnets are going to stick together in a drawer. So just keep note of that. They're not really repelling per se. It's more about the location of the magnet. So putting them directly next to each other at the same level doesn't really work. All right, so we're going to get started, and we're going to start with the pinks. This first one here is called Love of My Life and is a medium rosy pink, and this is the only one that is considered a semi-sheer. So this is luxuriously lucent is how Lisa Eldridge described it. Okay, and this is the pink. So it's a pretty sheer color. It can be built up, and it's basically a medium rosy pink. All right, the next one is called Rainbow Spill. And this one is going to be, this is an insanely saturated lip color. And you can see now that we're starting to get closer to the velvet matte texture. Just look at the texture on the side of this bullet here. And you can see how beautiful and velvet-like that looks. Okay, so this one is muted neon watermelon pink. Okay, so that's right here. And this is called Rainbow Spill. All right, and the last one in the pink set, and this set, by the way, is called Irresistible Pinks, if you wanted to purchase it now. This is another one of the insanely saturated lip colors. You can see you've got that velvet texture on here as well. This one is called Skyscraper Rose, and this Lisa Eldridge described as an electrically modern fuchsia pink. Okay. So you can see you can still sheer these out, or you can build them up. These two in particular will work really well as stains if you want to blot them on, or just tap them on from the tube, or using a lip brush. Right, so these are the Irresistible Pinks. All right, let's move on to the original reds. Okay, so in the original set, okay, and this was called, I believe, the True Red Velvet Collection. I'd have to double check that, but I believe that's what, if you were to purchase the 3 originals right now, I believe that's what it's called. And this one here is Velvet Morning, and these are your true velvets. So you can see here that texture on the actual bullet tube, and it's on the tip here as well. Okay, and this one, there we go. So this is Velvet Morning. Okay, so this looks like just a really nice red. All right, and then we have Velvet Ribbon, which is, I think this is the one that's probably most synonymous with Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. So it's a bright, more of a blue-based red. So you can actually see where it shears out. You can see a little bit of fuchsia in there. So this one's definitely going to be cool tone. But the thing about Lisa Eldridge lipsticks is that she really works to play with the undertones and make them more unique, instead of just doing something simple like most lipsticks where it's a red base or a blue base. She likes to mix in other colors as well, which makes the lipsticks work for more skin types and skin tones than others do. So instead of something being completely warm or cool, okay, so this is Velvet Jazz. This is the last of the originals. So instead of something being warm or cool, it's actually something that can work well for a variety of skin tones. So Velvet Jazz, you can see, is going to be the deepest of the originals, and it's really kind of in between a raspberry and a blackberry. It's not quite as deep as a blackberry, but it's not as bright as a raspberry. And again, this one you can sheer out, And you can see at the edges, you can see a little bit of pink there. Not quite as pink as Velvet Ribbon though. All right. So again, these were all ones that had previously been released. Okay, and now we'll use my other arm and we'll go through the new ones. So we're going to start from the lightest to the darkest. And I actually have the lightest one on right now. This is Velvet Fawn. And I've had it on for a couple hours now, so it wears very well. And again, these are all mattes. Okay. So this is Velvet Fawn. And there we go. It's really more of a nude color. And if you've watched Lisa Eldridge's videos, she's got a couple videos up on her YouTube channel that goes through all of the lipsticks and how to make some of these darker ones more wearable. Velvet Fawn, she says, was inspired by the 90s. Okay, so some of her vintage lipsticks from the 90s. And it's hard to think of 90s being vintage, but, you know, apparently that is what she was going for. So the difference is, particularly with this color, Lisa Eldridge had said that, you know, a lot of the 90s brown-based nudes and so forth, you know, how they make your skin look really sallow or kind of dead. So she played with the undertones in this and tried to make them more lively so that nobody will have that dead look when you're wearing this lipstick. So that is something unique. Okay, Velvet Muse is the next one. Okay, and this is a smoky rosewood nude. So it's kind of a combination of all of those. The next one is Velvet Beauty. Very pretty. Okay, and this is going to be more of a berry shade. Okay, and so these three were all in one set called the Soft Velvet set. Okay, and then you could also purchase them individually. Okay, Velvet Myth is our next one, and so this is Myth. Okay, and Myth is a mulberry. Okay, and you can see a little bit of, you know, fuchsia at the edges, but definitely not such a bright fuchsia like in these originals. So this one's way more muted down, more red than pink. All right, and then Velvet Decade. This one is the burnt chocolate shade. And I have to say, I was really nervous about this one because I don't really wear too many brown lipsticks. And I wasn't sure how it would look on me. But when you watch Lisa Eldridge's videos, she talks about how this one was basically, she put in the undertones and kind of tweaked them with a variety of different colors. So it's going to look different on everybody. So on fair tones, medium, darker skin tones, you know, it's all, everybody's going to have a slightly different look, whether you're cool tone, warm tone, neutral. So it should work for everybody. All right. And then the last one is called Velvet Midnight. And this is dark. So it's very, very dark in the tube. Velvet Midnight definitely seems to be an apt name for it. And this should be a true blackberry. You can see that, that's gorgeous. I love the color. I wear this color in glosses. I have not tried a lipstick in this color, so we'll have to see how that works out. But you can see on my arms and on my lips, you know, just how matte these are. But just a note that these, although they are a matte lipstick and they appear very matte on your lips, they still have that creamy feeling to them. They're not quite as creamy and emollient as, you know, a cream lipstick or a sheer lipstick. But they, I mean, like, they're not dry, they don't dry down completely. You know, there's still a little slip to them, a little give, and they don't dry out my lips, at least so far. So this is my first one, but, and again, I've only had it on for a couple hours, but no noticeable signs of drying. Haven't had any issues with, you know, the color fading or anything over time. All right, so these are our swatches. Again, we have from the top, we have Love of My Life, Rainbow Spill, Skyscraper Rose. And then here we have Velvet Morning, Velvet Ribbon, Velvet Jazz. Over here we have the 6 new colors. We have Velvet Fawn, Velvet Muse, Velvet Beauty. Okay. And then we have in the Deep Velvet collection, we have Velvet Myth, we have Velvet Decade, and Velvet Midnight. Okay. And I will be right back and we will apply the lip colors, and I will start from the pinks in the same order that we went before and just show you swatches of everything. So I'm going to apologize in advance for application. I'm not going to spend a ton of time making sure everyone looks perfect because we do have a lot of these to get through. Okay, so thanks so much. I'll see you back in a second. Okay, so I am back with our first one, which is Love of My Life. And this is the one that is a semi-sheer. So this has actually about 2 coats on it right now. And I can definitely make it lighter or darker. So you can see when applying, it does get a little bit darker. And it's a nice vibrant pink. This is definitely a great summer color. I can see why she brought it out for the summer. And I think for me, it just kind of gives a lot of life to my face, and it brings out a little bit of the rosiness in my cheeks, which, you know, sometimes is a good thing, sometimes not. My cheeks do get really red, but in this case, you know, I think it works really well. So I think this is a really pretty color, and this is Love of My Life. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I am back with Rainbow Spill. Okay, and again, Rainbow Spill is the muted neon watermelon pink. I think that's a pretty good description for it. It's definitely a matte look. And, you know, it's very similar to the matte velvets, although this one doesn't feel quite as creamy as Velvet Fawn did when I was wearing it. So it does feel a little bit drier. So not in a bad way though. It doesn't feel dry like my lips are dried out, just more that it's like dried down and, you know, like I don't have like a coating of lipstick sitting on top. So, all right, again, this was Rainbow Spill. Okay, I'm back with the last of the pinks. And this one here is Skyscraper Rose. And you can see here that it is very bright, very vibrant. And honestly, this is a color I wouldn't normally pick up, but the actual appearance, I'm not sure how well it's translating in the camera, but this really gives your lips that velvet look. I am really surprised. I look like I have like a fuchsia velvet on my lips. And the color is surprisingly wearable. So hopefully it translates in the camera as well as it looks in my mirror, but I'm really impressed with how this one actually looks on my lips. I'm pleasantly surprised. So, all right, I will be right back with the reds. Okay, so I'm back with one of the original reds in Velvet Morning. Okay, and again, this velvet texture is really amazing. I really like that. And this definitely looks a bit more of an orangey red. Again, it's very wearable though, even for my coloring, so very nice. Okay, and I am back with Velvet Ribbon. And this is a really classic red with a velvet look. And it's a little bit brighter than the velvet bag. Put that up. Oh, definitely. But it is, yeah, it's a really great color. Okay, and I am back with the last of the original reds. This is Velvet Jazz. So you can see this is a much deeper velvet red. This one actually might be closer to the bag. Let's see here. Definitely closer to it, but not quite as burgundy. All right. Okay, so I am back with Velvet Fawn. And I apologize for my lips are getting really red around. It's actually not residue lipstick. That's just from the constant changing and wiping my lips. So, I apologize. I do have very sensitive skin, so it gets red with a lot of, rubbing or irritation. So Velvet Fawn is a nice nude color. Again, this was the one that was inspired by the 90s. I don't think it makes me look dead, so I think, that was good work with the undertones there, and I will be right back with the next one. Okay, so I am back with Velvet Muse. Turn that up a little. And this was the Smoky Rosewood Nude, and I can see why Lisa described that in that manner. So I definitely see the velvet texture kind of gives it that smoky look, and it's definitely more of, a rosewood color, but it's more nude than a traditional rosewood. So I think this color is really, really pretty. This would be a great everyday color, I think. So I hope it translates as well in the camera, but it's gorgeous. It's very soft. The texture, again, has that velvet look to it, and it just seems incredibly wearable for a variety of skin tones. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I'm back with Velvet Beauty, and I'm not going to turn this up all the way because I guess my bullet is, can you see the indent there? So it looks like it's breaking, so be gentle with these. So this is Velvet Beauty. And this is, it's definitely more pink. It's, I don't know. I think, so she described it as a vibrant pink berry with blue undertones. It doesn't seem particularly berry-like to me, but it's definitely more of a soft pink. Okay, also pretty wearable. I think this one would be very wearable on an everyday basis as well. All three of these soft velvets, are very everyday colors. Okay, so I am back with Velvet Myth. Okay, and this one is really pretty. So on my arms, that was this one here. So you can see that it really shears out to a pink, and you can definitely see that this is going to be a blue-based color, and it actually looks, it's like a fuchsia mulberry. So I think this is really pretty. I like this. It's kind of a mix of the Skyscraper rose from the pinks with more red. So I love this color. Again, I apologize for the messy application, but beautiful, beautiful color. All right, I'll move on to the next one. Okay, so I am back with Velvet Decade. This is the burnt chocolate color. And on me, it definitely takes a very brown look to it, but it has a lot of dimension to it, which I wasn't really expecting. It must be that velvet texture that makes it look so lush. I actually like this color. Again, all of these feel very creamy on your lips as well. So, they don't really feel like a typical matte lipstick. So I don't know if I would wear it this deep all the time, but again, these could be applied by, dabbing it on for a lighter stain or using a lip brush to get a lighter version of this. But I do think that the undertones in this seem to work really well with my skin tone, and I think it would work really well with a variety. So, oh, that's right. This was the one that she said she put in a lot of different undertones in this, so it would look different on everybody's skin tone. I definitely think this is a very unique color. I'm really impressed by it. I don't typically go for browns too often because, again, they don't usually work so well with my skin tone. But this one definitely seems to liven it up a little bit more than I expected. Okay, so I am back with Velvet Midnight. And this is the one that looks like a really, really deep purple in the tube. Almost black, like a black purple. And on my lips, it looks like a really, really, really dark purple. this, actually, where it gets a little bit lighter, you can definitely see some of those purple tones in there. And this was described as a true blackberry. And I think, usually when you hear about blackberries and lipsticks, they have more of a pinker or redder tone to it. And I think this really is more like if you took an actual real blackberry and you crushed it. So it's very apt description. It's pretty purple, but in a good way. So it's not like grape on your lips, but it is that, like those deep purple black lip glosses. So here, it actually brings to mind like a lipstick version of the Chanel Lilac Noir. See here, do I have that right here? I'm not sure where I have that at the moment, but that one is the one from the fall collection that is a really deep black purple color. And this just looks like a velvet lipstick version of that. I really like the color a lot, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't translate as well on camera as it does in person. So I think, in general, all of these colors probably look better in person than they do on the camera. But I am pleasantly surprised by the dark colors. I'm very happy that I ended up with all of these lipsticks in my collection, and I can't wait to see more from Lisa Eldridge in the future. And if I had to pick a favorite, since I go for more understated looks more often than not, and more neutral everyday things, my favorite would probably be Velvet Muse. This would be my favorite for everyday. And for a deep color, that's really hard. I have to say I'm loving this Velvet Midnight, and from what I see in the camera, the color is not translating. So my shirt in the camera looks more, well, it's a little bit more purple, but a slightly deeper version of this is what I see on my lips. So I don't know if you can actually see, the actual variation in there. But this might be my favorite deep color, and my favorite reds, I don't know. That would either be Velvet Ribbon or Velvet Jazz. I really liked both of those a lot. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down below. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you are interested in seeing me do any more with these Lisa Eldridge lipsticks, for example, if you want a video where I apply them as a stain, apply them with a lip brush, and apply them straight from the bullet so you can see the different color levels that you get with the different application techniques, just let me know. I'd be happy to do that, and I would break it down so there aren't quite so many in there. So if you have any particular requests or anything, just let me know, and either leave it in the comments or shoot me an email. And I am happy to see you, and I hope I see you again in my next video, and have a great day, and I hope this was helpful. So thanks so much for joining me.